of the publishing persuasion, of the publishing persuasion.
Okay. I feel like, was my internet spotty the whole time while we were recording?
Not the whole time. There was a little lag here and there, but it wasn't a big deal.
Good, because I feel like nationwide we're having like a weird internet outing, like with
Really?
something with Amazon. And apparently
Whoa.
Amazon apparently has a bunch of different services that I never even realized, like Hulu, like a bunch of things, Snapchat randomly. So if it's not one thing in this country, it's
Girl, I was
another.
just
Damn
gonna
it.
say day 3,549 of me asking America, are you okay today?
I know. But you know what? Actually, this weekend was an amazing weekend here for most Americans. There was a big, huge protest nationwide, globally,
Mm,
actually, even the No Kings protest, which was really, really great. Basically, people just saying, like, Donald Trump, fuck you. And so that was
yeah.
really, really awesome to see. So yay.
Yay. No, it's definitely a sentiment that's being echoed across the world because like none of us are immune to this shit. And like I think even like I feel like Australia and the UK are both like realizing we also have these like extremists. Like there's been all these rallies in Australia, like fucking basically Nazi rallies, you know what I mean? And like they're feeding off this culture
Yeah.
that's like,
Yeah.
because once people get emboldened, they're like, yeah, I can say my problematic view out loud. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. That's honestly, that's the thing. It's like this presidency, like the very first run, made it okay to verbalize your racism, which I think obviously people were feeling a certain sort of way anyway. And so it just gave them the okay, which is obviously shitty. But I remember a time when racism was not cool. You
Girl,
know what
it
I
is
mean? And
not
so
cool. The only
I
people who
remember.
the only people who think that way are very loud. I still feel like that there are a minority and the average person is like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah,
I've got to
I really
believe that
hope so.
this
Yes,
stays.
me too. I freaking do. No, I have to say, like, because again, I do live in like a very
Mm,
red county. So basically very Republican, very conservative county. But again, I still live in California, so that's kind of a notch, even if I mean I can't speak for everybody, but even if we're in like a conservative county for the most part, people here generally still believe in human rights and
yeah.
basic decency, and they're good people here. But I have seen like a lot of people who did vote for Trump take it, like wish they could take it back and
Oh,
just
that's good.
scratch their heads. And a lot of that was why this whole No Kings rally came to be, was because of the things he's done here in the States. Like that was our thing. Like that was what we were
Mm.
proud of, was like, we don't have a monarchy. We believe in
Yeah.
democracy. And here he is trying to not disrupt it. He's trying to ruin it. So yeah, so there's hope,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that we can't vote, because there's, elections coming up, not for Trump, unfortunately, but for different things, local things, congressmen, there's all these elections that are getting ready to come up. So
Mm.
get out and vote. Although this
Right.
might already be out by then, but I hope you guys voted. So it's
But like
big.
even when
Please
you
do.
said that like people are like coming out regretting it, like I've seen people posting reels about that too, but like I just felt my whole body exhale, like, okay, thank fuck. Like even the people
Yeah.
who maybe agreed with some of whatever. Well, it's so funny, like if you see like there's this one guy and he does all these interviews asking people like what like he'll ask them, so you voted for Trump, like what policies of his do you like? And they can't ever name any of them. They like never
No.
know why they voted for him, but then they're just like rabidly like anti it's scary how many people just didn't want a woman in office, actually, when you see the
That
that
yes, that
fucking
was their big thing. They couldn't
yeah.
stand her laugh, which is
Wow, let's
so
burn the country
wild.
to the ground because we don't like her laugh. Shit balls.
Yeah.
It's just
So,
misogyny,
so, oh
sadly.
my God.
I
It
just,
is, and by a lot of women that I would hear say the same thing, like,
yeah.
"Oh, we can't have a female president because of, they're very hormonal." I'm like, "Bitch."
Have you met a man? Have you met a
Right?
man? Like, men are so fucking emotional just because they've had to fucking suppress that shit because of like male to male bullying over like millennia. Men are just
Yeah.
as emotional as women.
We have the most emotional human being in the planet as our president.
Literally,
So,
he throws
like,
a fucking tantrum over everything. Like
yes.
it's yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
I feel like hypocrisy is like my pet peeve, and so when you hear people saying
Mm.
one thing and acting a different way, it really cooks my noodle, as I like to say. It
It,
cooks my noodle
your noodle
hard.
has been cooked. Your noodle has been cooking.
How's your noodle?
So
Never mind my noodle though. How's your noodle doing with all of this chaos?
My noodle, fuck, I feel like my noodle, she gets hard and then she gets very soft and sometimes like soggy, like it just depends.
Girl, can we just replay that for a moment? Your noodle gets hard and then she
Yeah.
gets soft
And then soggy.
and
And then
then
sometimes like a little sticky
soggy.
sometimes. Like,
Oh my God. Your noodle sounds hot.
yeah. My noodle she's just been feeling all the things.
Yeah,
But I
that's
think
so
that's it. It's like,
understandable.
yeah, because you just keep thinking, and when I've said this so many damn times, it's unfortunate, but you just have to keep creating,
Literally.
in spite of everything or because of everything. I think it's the only way you survive, for us creative types. It's like
Mm. But these
the
people
only
will be
way.
their own downfall. Like, I swear, like, honestly, this is horrific, and I almost don't want to, I almost like don't want to rain on the parade if you didn't hear it. But at the same time, I feel like attention needs to be drawn to it as well. I saw this reel of like, one of like Trump's like main advisors, and they were talking about how basically in one statement he said something about how teenage boys have a low sperm count. I'm like, why the
Oh
fuck
God,
are they
I
like
know.
checking teenage boys? And in the same sentence he spoke about how 65-year-old men have more sperm, and then the next part was about how 14-year-old girls are developing earlier. Girls are
Yeah,
developing. I was like, I
yeah,
I burnt inside. I was like, please tell me other people just heard what I heard, which is
yeah,
this motherfucker saying in public on a stadium, basically connecting dots that like young girls should be having, like
yeah.
procreating with old men. I'm like, everybody heard that, right? Like that's not just me looking for things. I was fucking burning about it for, but luckily, like the comments were like shredding him. But I'm like,
Oh my
how
God,
are
he gets
these
shredded
the
so much.
people that are like in charge? And they're
Yeah.
saying like it's like a fucking cabinet of pedos. Like,
No, it is, and I think that's where a lot of it is stemming from because our government is currently shut down.
really?
Because yeah, because they couldn't basically there's this big
Oh
beautiful
my
bill
God.
is
Oh my
what
God.
Trump
Yeah,
presented.
I've heard of that.
And they couldn't agree because apparently they want to take out our Medicaid, which is a service that helps. It's a medical insurance
Yeah.
service, especially for people who are elderly, people with special needs. Like it's a huge deal, and so they want to take
Yeah.
it out of the budget, and Democrats aren't going with it. So
Thank
it's
fuck.
basically they shut down because they couldn't come to agreement. And so, yeah, so we're in a government shutdown.
Wow.
And I don't remember why was I even talking about this, but
The
uh,
fucking problematic statement that that guy
oh
said
yes,
about young girls.
yeah.
And what's
Oh,
funny is
that's where I was going.
the language when it's like young women, but then they'll like reduce the age of men by being like, oh, they're boys, the boys are this age, the boys. But
Yeah,
it's like, no, she has a period. She's a fertile concubine.
yeah, right. No,
Fuck's sake.
that's where they're trying to make where we're trying to not we, but where they're trying to lead us, I feel.
Right?
We're taking it back. We're going back to the I don't know when, but it wasn't a good time for us women.
Not that long ago,
There's so
ho.
many things. There's so many fucking things that you just keep scratching your head like, is that did I really hear that?
Did I
And so I
really? Yeah.
think hopefully more and more people are hearing the things that are being said. However, I think it's such a cult at
Mm.
this time that they literally can say anything
Yeah,
and
it's
it's okay
wild.
by these people because they don't want to be wrong, but it's embarrassing. He's the same one that basically said autism is linked to Tylenol. What else did he say? Autism was linked to circumcision.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I feel like this guy doesn't know what
It's
the fuck
all
he's talking about.
it's also wild the way they pull the stats out of their asses. Like I actually followed a rabbit hole after seeing that, and I wound up on somebody commented on something trying to like dismiss the people who were like being outraged about some of these posts and like rightly outraged, yeah. And so I was like,
Yeah.
who are these people? Like sometimes I just have to look who's like backing these people. And I went, it was like actually quite a prominent account, right? And they had something about autism pinned in their whatever, in their pinned Instagram shit. And it was like, look at this map. Look at this map of like where the greatest instance of autism is. And like weirdly, Australia was in green. Like they hadn't even done tests in Australia or something. I don't know. Australia wasn't in the study, but it was just like the whole US was red and everywhere
We're
else was
just
like
all
red.
autistic.
But
And you know what?
like
It's okay. I'm here for
no,
it.
but it was like wild because I was like, so what? Like just like ask yourself, like critical thinking for 1 second. The places that are red, did it ever occur to you that they have actual testing for that? Like
Right.
some of the other places that don't have like it's not like encouraged or promoted. Like the fact that there's more instance doesn't mean it's happening more. It means we're talking about it more. And it's the same as
Yes.
like with all of these things they try to demonize as being like more and like they try to like people who haven't been brought up to understand any of this. They're very able to like mobilize fear in them by being like, look at
Mhm.
this, everybody's autistic, everybody's turning gay, everybody's like and so
I
if
know.
people haven't like broken down their own prejudices about mental health, about how we identify as humans and like our gender and our orientation, and if you've never like critically thought about any of it, it's so easy to like just pluck at those fear strings and
Yeah.
demonize anything. That's like
Oh, yeah.
the
That
demonizing of everything, and that's why they're using religion again.
Yes, that is what they run on, is
Yeah.
demonizing anything that is, like, quote, unquote, "different," anything that is other. One of their huge, like, running points, selling points, I should say, was, like, anti-trans movement, keeping trans people out of sports, and so it's like, it really and truly builds on certain people's fears. The church is also a huge plays a huge factor in that. And so I think to me at this point, my rage really and truly is toward the church
Yeah.
because they play such a huge role in so many communities. And the church used to be this great place that you would go if you needed something, if you needed help, but now it's become not everyone, okay? Not everybody, but it has become this place that fuels the fire of hate and
Yeah.
it's this fear factor. And so I'm just like, if I don't see, because again, I follow a lot of old friends from high school, like church days.
Yeah,
Like
same.
when I see them, if they're speaking out, if they're only talking about Mr. Kirk and they're not talking about little babies in Gaza, they're not talking about the people that are suffering
Hmm.
because of the hands of this administration. If I'm only seeing them talk about one thing, but not caring about the rest of humanity, I'm like, you guys are fake as fuck. You're so fake. You're so
Yeah.
phony. You're trash. And so I've been just unfollowing people left and right
I love
that I
it.
probably should have unfollowed a lot longer ago.
That's it, eh?
But you give people grace because you're like, oh, we were friends back in the day.
And that's the
But now
thing,
it's
like
like, mm-mm.
ironically, those of us out of it are the ones having to fucking like gentle parent at this point, right? If you want anyone to hear anything other than the noise, right? Because that's what I've found. Like, you either just disengage from it, and sometimes you have to, because yeah, people,
Yeah.
we shouldn't have to like we shouldn't have to, right? But that's the irony. Like, I keep seeing posts about like how atheists are gonna like save the day and are living more to like Christ's teachings
Right.
at this
No, it's
point.
the
But it's
truth.
true.
It
Because
is so
atheists have done the
true.
critical thinking to like get where they are, and atheists are pro-humanity. And one of the problems that I keep thinking about, and I can't stop thinking, because growing up Adventist in particular, it really, people call it a death cult outside of Adventism, which Adventists would
Oh.
hate to hear it. But it is a death cult because the focus is so much on end of times, okay? So
Mm-hmm.
people are actually like, the whole message is Jesus is coming soon. He's coming soon. Get ready. And they're like, there's so much fear mongering about how these end times are going to come. You're going to have to fight for your life and like stand up for Jesus and whatever. And I've always had this same problem with that teaching. If you believe that the world is going to just, that it's meant to burn, and that the sooner it
Mm-hmm.
burns, the sooner Jesus is going to come, what motivation do you have for trying to make a better world for the people who are actually here?
Oh, that's
And
good.
people used to always say to me when I was younger, but what do you have to lose by believing it? Right? They're like, okay, so, if you believe it and it's not true, what have you got to lose? Whereas they would try like trick you into coming back, right? And they'd be like, whereas if you don't believe it, oh, gonna die forever, gonna go to hell, whatever version it is. But like I could never like look past, and they trick you with that when you're younger, but now as an adult, I'm like, wrong. You have everything to lose if it's not real because you're not taking care of this earth the way we need to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about like all these, what about, yeah, like whatever your generation will be like, yeah, he's going to come and whatever. But what about what you're leaving behind for your kids? Because you're like, no, but Jesus is going to come in our lifetime.
Yeah.
But like, say he doesn't. Say he never comes. Say you're
Right.
wrong, right? Because other people outside of that have contemplated that, right? And that's the thing, like atheists don't actually like diss it all. They're just like saying, we don't have that evidence right now, right? It's
Right.
non-theist, non-believing in, we don't have the evidence, right? So
Yes.
it's
Oh my
just a
God.
statement of the lack of evidence rather than like an attack on religion. But it's just like, yeah, some of this critical thinking, like as soon as you ask those questions, though, it makes people really uncomfortable, right?
It
And
does. I mean, anytime you are pushed against your beliefs, you're automatically you know, your spine will stiffen, but
yeah,
it's so important to think of other people, to think of facts, to
yeah,
think of other people beside yourself too. And I think that's like where we're having the biggest problem here in the States is
mm,
that one party, and I don't think it always used to be like this either, but one party in
mm,
particular, or at least I would say MAGA more than anything,
yeah,
only care for themselves and what
yeah, yeah.
benefits them. And they care so much that they're not realizing that the things that the liberal side are trying to defend also
Protect them.
protects them. So it's like a lot of the things that the Democrats are trying to keep in place are the things that they need as well. So
Yeah,
it's less of a just us. I only care about what I need and like what, my church pastor has told me. It's of the collective good. Humanity's good.
yeah.
We all need these things like universal health care. Like we need these things. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're MAGA. I don't care, blah, blah,
That's
blah.
it.
We all need the thing. And so I think when you're only looking internally or like at what your community needs,
Mm,
you're leaving the world a worser place, just like you were saying. And I think it's just,
yeah. And we like, I feel like those of us who like ask these questions, we want everyone to be able to like play with their own marbles, right? Like everyone should be allowed to have their beliefs and their traditions and like be able to have their like have it, play in your corner, but don't be like, well, now this has to be like we're having the Bible in the school. Ah! What? Am I freezing?
yes. And then, but I could see you talking but I
It's
couldn't
okay.
hear
We can
you, and
cut
so I was
some of
like,
that anyway. I was getting too fired up.
yeah, no,
But
I'm sorry. My internet said not today. But
okay.
anyway, yeah. Welcome, welcome to the podcast.
Ah,
Oh
um,
yes, we have a writing podcast, a literary podcast. That's
but we're
right.
also a
Yes,
talk show. It's a
we are a
talk
talk
show
show.
in the flavor of publishing, you know?
Oh yeah, that's good
I
because
have looked,
it's all connected. Damn it,
it
you
is all
know?
connected, and that's the thing. I think like it would be disingenuous to just talk about writing and craft when like
Yeah,
there's this kind of shit happening. And I
yeah.
think from what I hear from our listeners, like some of them, this is the part they listen to.
Well,
So
shout out, shout
shout
out.
out, shout out to all our amazing listeners.
Yes,
We're
thank you.
grateful.
We are. And you are allowed to fact check us if we are wrong in anything, but I don't feel like we are. I feel like we're I feel like we're always right.
Right. I'll take that. But I will swing us over to,
Yes.
well, not so
Right.
much lighter things. I can't stop thinking like chatting with our guest today and, how she was sharing how she had her existential crises and she was like, throwing herself out on the sidewalk and just looking at the sky. And I was just like, that I'll save I mean, I'm always giving spoilers, but I can't not discuss it with you. You know what I mean? And the full
Mhm.
story, you'll have to hear the full story. But I just feel so seen by this stuff. And I was like kind of curious, like, do you have like any moment in particular like that like really stands out to you that you were like having and like how did you deal with it? Do you want to share the story? Like anything that feels comfortable to share? Because I feel like I don't know, I feel so seen by these stories and I feel like when we share them, yeah, like we all have a lot of big feelings in this community?
We sure freaking do. I feel like honestly, I have these moments probably I would say not daily, but weekly.
See, just you telling me that, I feel so seen because that's real. It's
Yeah.
like,
No, because it's so like it's so hard and it's scary. And then you might see a bad review on your story or in your book
mm,
or whatever, and you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, why
yeah.
am I working so hard for someone just to read it within a day and then say it was just okay, And then I'm like, oh, and so like I go through these motions of just like, oh, this is so hard, but I keep fighting for what? And then my brain starts going like, you haven't been a bestseller yet, like maybe you'll never get there, and so like I start to spiral. And I've been doing that more and more lately, and I feel like it's
Mm,
because I've got a third book coming out.
yeah.
Well, fourth if we don't include, including Jingle These Bells. But like I have this next book coming out, and I feel like the pressure's building for me to where so I can keep selling books, because if, they don't hit a jackpot,
Mm,
maybe I'm not worthy of, getting the deal. And so like I've been having these like conversations in my head more and freaking more. And then my mother-in-law ran like, was it yesterday? It was the day before. I was at her house and she was like, "Oh, I just saw this video of your grandfather on YouTube." And I was like, what? But she was like, "I don't know why it just popped up because
yeah.
my grandpa, Jose, was a poet and he taught at the university here. He was one of the first Mexican American
Wow.
teachers at Sacramento State. And so, he carries like a big legacy here."
Mm,
And so she's like, "Yeah, it popped up." And and so we were just like going through all of his old videos that he was recorded on, and like just listening to him playing his music and all these things. And but one of the things he said was, a lot of these youngsters, they only care about what their art is going to give them. Like, what is their art, like how is that art going to make money for them? And he goes, "I know I'm old school, but in my thought, I want to use my art for me. Like, I want to create something that's going to speak to people and affect people. And
mm,
yeah, maybe the money will come, but that's not why I do it." He goes, if that's the case, I'll just get a job and make money." And I was just like, "Damn," because in my mind, I started stressing about the money, and
Mm.
I could feel, like, the creative, like, excitement fading because I was like, "Oh, I have to write something and I have to
Yeah.
sell it because if not, I can't, like, pay my bills." And yeah, obviously, that's really important, but the true heart and soul for me and why I wanna do this is because I wanna write stories for young adult readers or just any readers where they just feel something.
Yeah.
And so it was like this really random moment where I was like, and it just came about in such a random ass way where my mother-in-law was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
like, look at this video of your grandfather." And I was just like, "Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jose." It's just, so I have those moments
Yeah.
way too often. And so I think I just need to keep reminding myself, like, "Okay, bitch,
Mm.
if you need the money, like, we can get a
That's
job."
it.
You know?
No.
So, yeah.
No, oh my God, I have chills and I so appreciate you sharing that because I had a moment like that this week as well, where I was just
Mm,
reminded that like if I wanted to just do it for the money, I probably wouldn't be doing I
yeah,
definitely wouldn't be doing this job. Like yes, I
yeah,
am hopeful that I can like create income from this that would be enough to sustain me like over time. But you're right, like at the end of the day, it's not the primary why. And I think that like, yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in though, because this career is such a like bizarre mix of soul and business, right?
mhm,
And the
mhm,
two were never meant to be mixed, really. It's like oil and water, right? So you've got to keep that part of your soul alive to like be brave and to do the joyful things. But when the business side kicks in and you're like, ah, but wait, trying to find the balance between the two is a juggling act, and you cannot do one without the other. You cannot make money unless you're writing amazing, joyful, whatever. But you can't
yeah.
hold on to that joy if the situation, I'm gonna sneeze, sorry. I think like my nose
Bless
is
you,
just twitching. Is it
bless you.
coming? Uh, It's not coming.
May the Lord bless you ahead of time.
Something, something. I don't know what the end of this. And it's just, when your nose is just like pulling. I'm like,
There's an invisible string.
but yeah, like I think those moments come up, and it is a good reminder because you're right. Like at the end of the day, there's other jobs to be done that would be more reliable income wise. But like
Yeah.
the why of why we're here and like that, and I think that's why it's important to kind of know, like to ask yourself all these questions. And otherwise I can't see how to keep going if you don't
Mm,
ask yourself these questions.
yes. It's like you gotta check in with yourself
Yeah,
almost daily. I
I
I
think
swear,
so.
like, hell, even before you start writing, even after you start writing for the day, it's like you have to check in with yourself, like, "Okay, what am I doing this for?"
Mm,
And I think spite is a lot of it, and I think I love that for us. Like, it's like, "Okay, I'm getting this damn book."
yeah.
It's like, and I think that's like a fun I think it makes it fun because it gives you this, like, burning fire, like, "I'm fucking selling this book," so it, like, gives you this thing. But at the heart of it, it's like, "Okay, why do I want to tell stories?"
Mm,
And so it's because it is so hard too. Like,
so hard.
writing a book, revising a book,
Mm,
querying, going on sub, uh, editing, like, it's all so hard, and so if you
mm,
don't know your why, and if you're not checking in with yourself, daily, hourly,
I reckon.
it's so easy to get down on yourself because 'cause you're just like, "Ugh, I don't know why, because this is hard. Maybe I should
Mm,
just stop." But if you know your why, I think it makes it, like, it's just like a reminder of, like, "Okay, I've got a purpose here."
yeah.
Whatever it is. But it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not, it's not. The existential crises are real. dear listeners, please feel free to write in and share your existential crises with us. We'll read
Yes,
the
please.
best existential crises aloud.
I love that.
Yeah,
Oh my
for real
God, 10
though.
minutes.
I know we got so ranty,
Yeah,
but
we
it was
yeah.
good. It was healing. I had something
Yes.
else I wanted to ask you.
Well, did you read
Oh
Big
my God,
Magic?
yeah. And it actually, I did read Big Magic, and it plays kind of right into just like, yeah, I think like what I was thinking after you said all of this is just like some of that like soul searching is very existential, right? It's like very like coming to terms with the fact that we're so mortal. Or at least for
Mm,
me, like that's something that's always made me wind up staying because as long as it's giving that joy and as long as it's uplifting in that way, and as long as you feel like, I don't know, that human to human connection. Do you know what I mean? Like just sharing our stories and stuff. Like why not? You know?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
we're all like, no one's escaping the hand of time, might as well. And as scary as that is to admit, but when you admit that, again, it's also liberating because you're like, yeah, I'm not going to live forever. So what do I actually want to do with my time? And I think a lot of people veer away from that question, right? Because it's fucking frightening.
Oh my God, it's so scary.
So people
Just to
don't want
think
to,
about death.
yeah. The
But it's
great thing
true
is
though.
once we're dead, we won't have to think about it at all. You
I'll never have to worry about this again.
Nah. But while we're here, like if you can like yeah, allow yourself to like remember that. And I think a lot of us and we need to stay distracted and not think about it all the time. But allowing yourself to actually know that in your heart, it does give you freedom to chase a life you actually want. And that's kind of like coming back to Big Magic, the chapter today about amplified existence. She talks like I love how she talks about creative living because she's not just speaking to writers. And that's why I brought that up. She's talking about it from a way of like, are you living a life that matters to you? Like in
Mm,
this time that you've got. And she talks about her friend who she was into figure skating and like she gave it up because, society loves to tell us that unless we can make money and win medals, we shouldn't do that thing that we love that fills us with life and joy. And it's
yes.
one of the cruelest tricks of like capitalism that we are made to feel like unless you can make a living doing this, you shouldn't even try.
Yes.
You don't even deserve to tell stories, is what they tell us, unless we can be a bestseller. It's such a goddamn lie. And and yeah, even chatting with Nia and she was just saying, I can't remember what she said. You'll have to listen to the other part, but it's somehow connected to that.
It was
But
really smart. Whatever it
it
was
was
so
really
good.
fucking smart and it
Yeah.
connects right back to this. And when you get to that part in the episode, you're going to be like, yeah, Melanie, you're right. It did connect. But in Big Magic, she talks about her friend who takes up figure skating again at 40 and having not touched it since her teens. And she finds that, yes, she still loves it and it still fills her up inside. And she doesn't care. She puts aside the fact that she feels like silly and clumsy on the ice next to all these like waif like 9-year-olds flitting by, getting ready for the Olympics. And she
Mm,
doesn't care because she's so full of joy for the first time in years. She gives herself permission to do this thing. And I was just like, that's fucking it. That's what freedom looks like.
mm,
Like
mm,
capitalism will try to like grab freedom, market it, and sell it back to us. And I'm suddenly thinking of those Kim Kardashian merkins that she's selling. I mean, they're literally out here telling us to shave off our pubic hair and then trying to sell us pubic hair on a G-string. That if that's not the height of corrupt capitalism, I don't know what is. Grow your goddamn bush out if you want it. Don't spend the $50 or $100 or whatever it is. Let your bush grow. You've got a bush, you can grow it. Anyway, I digress. Be free is what I'm saying.
Let that bush be free.
Don't buy Kim's. I don't even. Is it real? Is that real? Do you know what I'm
I don't
talking
know.
about?
Yes, I do know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Yes. They could be comes in all different colored hairs too.
And textures.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
But anyway,
beautifully said, Melanie. It's beautifully said.
My
Beautifully said.
coffee hit, can you tell?
I love
I
it.
was
I love it.
wasting away in the first I
Oh,
was gonna say in the first episode, in the first recording. Shall we read our bio so we don't run out of time?
yes, yes.
Anyway, do the thing that calls your heart is what this chapter says. We are trying to read through Big Magic. Please do feel free to join us. We are sporadic. I will read this one quote that I loved, and she says, "When I refer to creative living, I'm speaking more broadly. I'm talking about living a life that is driven more strongly by curiosity than fear." Hmm.
Yeah.
Felt that one in my cloaca.
Oh, yeah. Felt that right in the noodle. Felt it. Felt it right in there. All right. I'll read Nia's bio here. She's an absolute boss. Nia N.E. Davenport is a science fiction fantasy author of the Praetorian Trials and its sequel from Harper Voyager. She has a BA in biology and an MA in secondary education. She's an advocate for diverse perspectives and protagonists in literature. When she isn't writing, she enjoys traveling, skiing, and being a huge foodie. Love that. Her next book, Our Vicious Oaths, is
Mm,
coming out very soon, or might already be out by the time this airs. And you better believe I will be reading it the second it
yeah.
is out.
That pitch is
Yes.
wild. The
Yeah.
pitch is wild. Shadow daddies, forced arranged marriage vibes. I can't remember all the
It's got
things.
everything. It
It's got a
literally
lot
has
of solid
everything.
tropes that speak to me.
Yes, it does. The cover, oh my God, the character art.
Oh my God.
So I am so pumped.
I'm pumped. I love when like I we get a new guest and I've had a busy week and usually I try like look them up ahead of time in case I don't know them. But like the last few, I'm just like I just followed her. I just followed her. Like I was not even following her. I was like, shame. But it's always a delight. It's always a delight.
Yes,
I don't know what
got
my
some
point
good
was.
ones.
Sorry. My brain is like popcorn today. Pew, pew, pew.
Just that it was a delight, and she's wonderful, and you're excited, and it's wonderful.
You're a delight. You went to a noodle.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm trying to get my AirPods to catch.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah, no
trust
stress. We
me.
can
We
cut it
Okay,
out.
we
Cut out
there
the
battle.
we
part.
go.
Woo! I was
She's
trying
in.
to find the questions because even after like 3 years of doing this, I'm still like, what were our questions again?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. No, we were I would say we, but it was me. I was a mess because I had the time zones. I don't know why I thought Central Time was 1 hour from Pacific time. And then I just looked and I was like, oh shit, Melanie, it's like in an hour. And so glad it worked
Well,
out and we are all
well,
here.
yeah. Well, I was a mess because in my I clearly your email said 4 Central Time, but in my head it said 4 Pacific Time. So I was like, oh, I don't have to be anywhere till 6 Central. And I saw Melanie's like Zoom link and it said 40 minutes. And I was like, 40 minutes? What?
Okay. Yeah, so I need to work on my communication and probably just time zones and maybe just brain. I think at this point it's just the brain.
Wait, so
Yeah.
was it early for all of us?
Yeah.
You thought it was later as
Yeah.
well, Nia?
Yes, I thought it was 6. I was like grocery store picking up the kids. I was on my way home. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be on a podcast in 20 minutes.
Oh my God. I'm so
Sorry,
sorry.
everybody. I like to keep everybody on their toes, you know? I like to
Yeah.
keep you guys up. I like to keep you guys ready, and here we are. So so thank you. Thank you for making it work. Appreciate it. Okay, well, we'll get right into it and go ahead and ask because we'll introduce you like beforehand. So
Okay.
we'll get right into it and ask you like our listeners' favorite question, our favorite question, which is what is the strangest thing you own?
Ooh, own. That is a very that's an honest one. Um, the strangest thing I own, and see, I'm in the middle of moving, or I would show you, but I found this really creepy witchy doll at a
Ooh.
Home Goods about two spooky seasons ago, and so the first year I was super excited about her, but then my mom is very superstitious, and she had me convinced that the doll was gonna come alive and hunt me to the ends of the earth. So then. The Halloween after that, I put her up. I couldn't bring myself to like toss her out. So I kept her in like my Halloween box. And this year I was telling like, you know what, mom is tripping. And I brought her back out.
And
Yes.
how do you feel about that? How do you feel about her being out?
I have made peace with it. And I'm like, if she's a demon, then she's my little demon guardian and she's actually watching over me.
Yes, like a
Honest, yeah.
gargoyle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, that's how I feel about a lot of spooky stuff these days, where like when I was a kid, I'd be haunted by it, but as an adult, I'm like, no, that is protection. Like I'm gonna have all the spooky things out the front of my door so I don't get door knockers or like thieves. They'll just take a look at the like head that has a plant in it and they'll be like, no, not this house.
This house.
I love that idea, actually.
Yeah,
I
Same.
think that's brilliant. Put her
I,
outside. She'll scare everybody off. You'll be
Yeah.
great.
I'm
We'll never get
convinced.
visitors.
You have to do, okay, my favorite reels, some of my favorite reels are when they put fishing wire on the spooky dolls. And then they like, have you seen this? Somebody ties fishing wire onto like a toy or a doll, and then they'll let their family just be chilling in the room and the doll's on the floor. And then they'll pull it and it will drag across the floor.
Mm-mm. I'd
I
move.
would,
I'd be,
I would,
mm-mm.
I would like, we got to burn the whole house down now.
Yeah.
We have to burn the
Yeah.
entire house down.
Yeah. That's the proper reaction, I think, in that situation.
I love
I
that. I
love it.
love spooky dolls. I'm excited to hear what is something you think about way too often.
Oh, something I think about way too often. Okay, I will preface this that we are in spooky season. I was just telling a really good friend this. Like mask talk, like explodes during Halloween season. So all of the like scream mask thirst traps is something I think
Mm.
about. What? Too often. And it
Wait.
doesn't help that I'm in the middle of reading Navessa Allen's Lights Out. So it's just like
Mm.
feeding into the obsession right now.
I'm on the wrong side of TikTok. That's what you're telling me because I didn't know this
Yeah,
was a thing.
Yeah.
it is.
I would love more context because I'm not on this side of TikTok either. So like actual thirst traps with like the scream mask.
With like the scream mask and like hot muscles and like biceps and ripped chest. And I'm like, I shouldn't like this, but oddly,
Mm.
I do a lot.
Sometimes it just gives us what we need and we didn't expect it.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what? It's all fuel for writing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
Agreed. Yeah.
research is what you're telling me. And I think that's good. I think that's you should be on there for research.
For research.
Yes, I love that. I'm here for it. Okay, well, I want to go to writing. Like, can you tell us, did you always want to be a writer?
So I think so. My family will have this adorable story where like 4-year-old me, before I could like read or write or form actual letters, that I would like sit at the table with my grandmother who was a school teacher. And it was back when like they wrote lesson plans like by hand. And I would have my sheet of notebook paper and a pencil and I would scribble on the page. And she'd ask me like, what are you writing? And I'll tell her a story. And like I would literally go through like beginning, middle, and end and like when someone else would come along and say, what did you write? I would repeat that same story.
Mm.
That's a cute. Oh, so yeah, you were ready. You were born to do
Yeah.
this.
So I'm like, I was born to do this.
Oh my God,
Give
I
me one
love
second. I have a
that.
little one. I'm gonna
Of
divert her. I'll
course.
be right
Okay.
back. Okay. Okay.
I love
Okay.
that I got everybody's timing wrong.
Girl. I didn't even shower. I just washed my fringe, but it didn't really do a
Hey,
good job.
looks good. I threw in some of that, what do you call it? Like the dry
Oh, the
shampoo.
dry shampoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
mass panic of like,
Hey everybody, hurry.
oh, I love it. No, it's good though.
Yeah.
I just haven't had
Yeah.
coffee yet.
Well, you would never know. You would never know.
You just want us all to be on our toes, and I
Yes.
appreciate
Keep
that.
everybody, keep it up. Keep it up. Yes. I like that you're in your Halloween gear right now, too.
Okay, me too. I have so many glowing, all these skeletons glow as well. Like if I walk into the bathroom and I stand, because the light's really bright in the bathroom and I stand there, I'll come out glowing. I could possibly make myself glow in this very room.
Ah,
Just giving, I mean, I do have a few episodes backed up, so by the time I drop this one, it may or may not be Halloween, But I thought, why not?
yeah,
I was feeling
I think
Halloween.
that's perfect. Feeling Halloweeny. I don't blame you. I love it.
Yeah.
Here.
Don't stress if you need to like go do anything because I can always cut those bits out and yeah.
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 Well, especially since I made us show up early. So, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm
No.
like in the middle of the tour, and so my 4-year-old, when I'm home, she is like, "Where?" If I move, she's like, "Where did you go? Get
Oh.
back here right now."
Oh my God, I bet. Yeah, you've been everywhere and you're still
hmm
going everywhere, right?
And yes, 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 yes.
You're going to be at Steamy Lit, right?
I will be a stimulant at
Yes.
the end of next week. I'm so excited about it. It'll be fun.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I love Steamy Lit. It's going to be a wild time. So,
Yeah. It's especially gonna be super fun, especially because Our Vicious also officially comes out on Tuesday, and then Stimulant is that weekend. So I'm like, we're gonna party.
yes, you deserve to party so hard. You've been working your ass off. So, that's amazing.
Mhm.
Okay. So, we were just saying that you were a born
Yes,
writer.
I was a born writer from when I was little to my dad has this story where it was the big bad wolf, except he was a misunderstood villain. So I also think that I was born to write enemies to lovers and villain romances
Mm.
because it was like I was misunderstood. Like I actually had a reason for trying to like blow the little pigs' houses down. Um, so that, and then I think my mom also has this story where it was YA before YA was labeled as YA, but basically there's a teen girl and she has this really hot boyfriend, but she doesn't know that the boyfriend has a twin who is like a serial killer, and the serial killer twin escapes and switch places and then starts terrorizing her. This was back when I was into like all of the Fear Street like slasher
Mm.
novels, and I was like, I want to write one.
I, I think you should write that.
It needs to happen.
I'd read that. I would.
Yeah.
So yeah, what you're telling me is yes, yes, and you should have
Yes, yes.
kept all of those and then just wrote them all because I would also read about the big bad wolf
Well,
as
Mm.
right.
well.
I mean, I keep shouting. I'm going to convince somebody at some point to let me write hot shifters, and I really think
Mm.
like that's where that stemmed from. Like, I'm like, I need to write a
Yes.
shifter that is morally
Okay.
gray and hot.
Yes.
Well, I
Yes.
just watched Slumberland and Jason Momoa is in that as like a kind of wolf-ish creature with
Really?
arms. So I am right here. I'm right
Oh,
here in the living the fantasy right now.
I had not heard about this show, so you're telling me it's something I need to lock into immediately.
I should preface it's for kids, but Jason
Okay,
Momoa's in it as like a
fair.
fantasy character with like wolf feet and yeah, they gave
Okay,
something for all of us.
nice.
It's a
Okay.
movie. It's a movie, so easy watch. I hadn't heard of it either, and I was like, how did I not? It actually made me cry like 4 times. Like
Oh,
they did the thing with that movie for me. I was like,
okay.
okay,
I like
so
it.
good. So
I
yeah,
will
give
check it
us the
out.
Here for it.
shifters. Give us the shifters. We love it.
Okay.
Well, can you
Hmm.
tell us a little bit more about your publishing journey? What brought you to where you are now?
So I've been a huge paranormal romance and urban fantasy reader for literally for maybe like 20 years since like my late teens.
Mm,
And I was reading a lot of those books, but there weren't a lot of Black heroines in those books. And so I remember fresh out of college I picked up L.A. Banks' Vampire Huntress Legends series. It was the first time
mm,
seeing a Black girl like in that quintessential like Buffy the Vampire-esque Slayer role, and it just like completely like mesmerized me and made me say, I want to write stories like the ones I love reading, and I want to write Black heroines in them. So that's what kind of like kickstarted it. Now, granted, there were like a ton of like shitty drafts that will never see the light of day that are like shoved to a file drive somewhere, and just me. I wasn't an MFA or an English major. I was actually a biology major. So it was a lot of like trial and error and just like learning as I go with like training wheels and then taking the training wheels off. But I just relied on, I've always been a voracious reader, and I've had a
Mm,
very good like command of like what makes a story work. And so I relied on just that internal gut feeling of story structure. I was also a theater major, and like I focused
mm,
on story structure in that aspect. So I kind of used that too and just taught myself narrative writing.
mm.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, so once you decided, okay, I'm going to write this, I'm going to write
Yes.
these things. What did you do? So you wrote all the drafts,
Okay.
working on things. Like, did you query?
Yes, I did. So I wrote all the drafts. And then I actually, the first thing I queried was actually the very first thing I queried. I did all the things wrong that you're not supposed to do. I had half a draft written. I feel like I haven't told the story in so
Oh,
long because
yeah.
it's so embarrassing. So I had half a draft written, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna query it now because it takes agents so long to get back. It'll be done by the time someone, maybe requested. So I queried with this like incomplete draft, and I got a request like a week later. And then I'm just freaking out. And then, of course, now you hindsight is even if you do that, just take the time. Like an agent would rather see a polished draft than a rush draft. But this was 22-year-old me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to furiously attempt to write this. And so I wrote it. And of course, I did not get an offer representation off of that because it was admittedly a shitty first draft, just in every
Mm.
way, shape, and form. So I put that away. I started working on a Hades and Persephone YA contemporary fantasy set in New York. I loved it. It's what I queried again with. It was again, like I said, that process of elimination and trial and error because again, I did something that you're not supposed to do. I opened up that manuscript with my main character staring in a mirror and describing herself, which is like one of those big. I mean, yes, there are some very talented, brilliant writers who can defy the rules and make them work and make them sparkle. That manuscript was not working on that subversive level. And so my agent at the time, Katie Flum, she was like, I love the world building, I love the characters, I love the concept. Can you revise the opening pages and resubmit? So I got an R&R, and I took about a month and a half to revise it, and I resubmitted it. And then that is the manuscript that got me my agent, and we went on submission with it. But that's not the one that sold because I got a lot of this was after that YA boom where the market was kind of glutted with a lot of YA books. And so editors were buying less and less YA and were like hyper critical about the types of YA that they
Mhm.
did buy. This was back in like 2016, 2017. So I got a lot of feedback saying that they love the story, they love the world building, they love voice. It just wouldn't stand out in such a crowded market. And I'm the type of person where I am like, to manage my anxiety, I'm going to be working on the next thing while I'm on sub. So while that was on sub, I actually started writing the Blood Trials, which ended up being my first book that sold, and it
Mhm.
sold on the adult fantasy side. And it was right after the 2016 election. And I just channeled all of like my rage into it and just my love for all things science fiction fantasy, like every science fiction fantasy trope that I love. I was like, you know what? If it's such a hard uphill climb, anyways, I'm just going to defy all these conventions and mash up a bunch of genres. It's like sci-fi, but it's also fantasy, but there's also some thriller mystery elements. There's a little bit of romance in there. It feels like Star Wars meets Black Panther meets Game of Thrones meets Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I literally threw everything into the book. So it's like this wonderful, beautiful hodgepodge of just stuff that I was like, I love all these things. Um,
Mm.
and that is the novel that we put on submission after the one that didn't sell. And my editor now at Harper Voyager absolutely loved the military fantasy aspect of it. And so when he bought it, we did a couple of rounds of revisions to play that up even more. And that was my novel. He bought it in 2020 and it debuted in 2022.
Wow.
Amazing.
What
Yes,
a
I love
journey.
Grant. Is there anything about like the publishing industry that has just surprised you? I
Mm.
mean, I'm sure there's so many things, but what has surprised you the most, I guess?
So the thing that surprises me the most, and it's not a secret that it both surprises me and annoys me, is there's a lot of industries that run off of pure, this is a like just business wise, like this is a good manuscript, like there's an audience for it, like I
Mm.
can sell this to an audience. And so I remember when I first started learning about the publishing industry, it surprised me how like subjective the decisions are to like offer representation when an author's querying and to like buy a manuscript. There's dozens of manuscripts, I feel like, in stories that are brilliantly written, and that would there is a market. There are readers who are hungry for the story. And so I had to learn to
Mm.
grow a thick skin and not let rejections be a reflection of like me or my skills or the story or like my like value as a writer, because it truly is such a subjective industry that you can get a million no's and it has no reflection on like who you are as an author.
Oh my God, your words are healing my soul. And yes, like it really is like such an industry of no. And I think actually I'll ask you, like, what do you think helped you like reach that point where like the no's weren't stinging and you were able to like just like keep going?
So for me, I've always been a type of person, I've been stubborn to a fault.
Mhm.
So the fastest way to get me to do something is to tell me I cannot do it.
Mm.
So the no's are kind of like they created this positive feedback loop where even though they were brutal and they stung, it then became this where I was like, no, I'm going to give all of the no's, like the metaphorical middle finger. You're not going to tell me no. Like, you're not going to keep me from this dream that I like wholeheartedly want. And so I just kept going. But there were times where, so I am the middle child. My older sister is about 6 years older. I come from a family of like six, and she keeps all of us together. So there were times where I would be laying in, this is when we lived together. I would be laying in like the driveway, staring up at the sky, like having this whole existential crisis, like I'm never gonna be an author, I'm never gonna get published, I'm never gonna sell a book. And she'd come out there and be like, girl, get your behind up right now. Stop playing. Go back and keep writing. You got this. So my big
Yeah.
sister is a big part of keeping me going too.
That's what we need sometimes, is just somebody to remind us like that we can do this and to slap us in the ass sometimes, like you are
Right.
doing it. Like, what are you
This.
talking about? Like, it's happening. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
The
And I really do feel like a common thread with so many authors is like we just are so stubborn about getting to our dreams, our goals. And it's like feels like it's sometimes the only way to survive is being stubborn.
Yeah,
Stubborn.
it's
Yeah.
true. And I always appreciate other authors sharing their stories of like laying in the driveway having existential crises because I think in those moments you can feel really alone in those moments. And knowing we've all had them, it's just like, yeah, it does feel like that sometimes, but you can keep going and you can make it. And you can like have people around you who are just like, get off that driveway, you're fine,
Right.
you're gonna be all right. I love that so
Yeah.
much. Oh, well, I want to
Yes.
know, what do you think has been the hardest part of this journey?
Oh, okay. So the hardest part of this journey has been trying to carve out a path as a Black author, because I feel like so much of publishing, from like marketing to promo to publicity to like what the algorithm on Talk and Instagram and YouTube or whatever other platform favors,
Mm.
are like your cis het white authors, and are books with cis het white main characters. And the hardest part of the journey is finding my voice and staying true to my voice, even when sometimes it feels like I'm swimming against the tide to be heard. Um, That's been the hardest part, but
Mm.
it's gotten easier, and that's 100% to the credit of all of the phenomenal readers that I have gained along the way, because they have truly empowered me to know that my stories matter and that my stories have this like really hungry audience, and that I am writing for them, and that's what keeps me going even when sometimes all of the moving goalposts feel impossible.
Mm.
Mm. Yes. Well, and I think you're such a inspiration too to even budding authors who feel like, and it's so true. It's like you're swimming upstream so often for so many different reasons, and so
Jesus.
it's like you being there, like ahead of the game, fighting for the next author to come up. I think it's so beautiful and powerful. And
Mm.
I know like so many authors that have read your work and are like, "Yep, this was it. Like this is the book." And just like yes, so I
Yeah.
think it's so beautiful. What would you say has been like the best part of your career so far?
The best part of my career has being able to be a fangirl and literally like meet other authors that I have admired and that I've looked up to, and whose works have like kept me going, or whose works have really like spoke to a part of like either my inner child or like my current self. Angela, I'm literally trying not to have a fangirl moment because I love all of your books too.
Stop
Um
that.
I have a best friend, and we just like talk about your books all of the time. And I remember like when Legend Born was first coming out, like I slid into Tracy DMs, and I was like, oh my God. I love Bree and her journey so much. And it's like speaking to I was like I went to college at a PW. I graduated from USC. So like I know so deeply what it feels like to be like you know, the one brown face in the room,
Mm,
and to be like fighting for like, you know, recognition and respect and a seat at the table. And so I was like, Tracy, you literally wrote this book like you're speaking to my soul. And it was a book that like every other black woman in my life, I was like, go buy and read Legend Born right now. Like my sister, my mom, my cousins, my best friends, I was like, go buy it, read it, and thank me later. And they were all like, oh my God, this book just changed my life. And so it was very special having that experience, and then also being able to just like talk to Tracy about it, and just you know, tell her like what it means to me. And then we had this full circle moment back in April when Oathbound came out, and she called me and was like, will you be my conversation partner for the Oathbound tour stop in Houston? And I'm like in the middle of the mall, like about to like just burst out crying because I'm like, oh my God, I admire you and Bree and your book so much. So that's definitely been one of the most wonderful parts about this journey.
I
oh
love that
my
so
God.
much.
I love it. Yes. I love those full circle moments too,
Yeah.
especially when it's like someone you have been reading and admiring, and now it's you're sitting there next to them. It's just the
Mm.
Yes,
coolest, best
very
thing.
cool.
And I know people say like don't meet your heroes and stuff, but mostly my experience with writing is like when you have that moment, you're like, ah, this is why I was drawn to you all along. Like they have
Hmm.
this like kind of energy and way of just like making you feel seen. And yeah, it's such an amazing thing about our community.
Yes, for sure.
That's
Yes.
true. Okay, so you have books now. Like you have several books
Yes.
under the belt. Do you find like over the years has your writing style changed? Like were
Mm.
you a pantser, a plotter? Like has it changed throughout the years?
My writing style has definitely changed. So I started off being a huge diehard pantser, to where I would just open up a document and go. And then so when I got to the end, I would have to do this complete overhaul of the manuscript sometimes, because I have like a million different plot threads going in a million different directions. Some of them were not connecting at all. So then I had to go through and connect the plot threads and make them more seamless, like flow through from beginning to end. If there were breadcrumb trails I needed to leave, I needed to sprinkle those for the big like twists and reveals. I may have started off a character, the characterization one way, like up front, and then like halfway through the manuscript, their like wants or motivations or needs or who they are as a person will fundamentally shift. And so then I would have to go back and kind of overhaul that, I carried that through from beginning to end. But having to sell on proposal has made me it has turned me into a plotter, because I am at the point where I can't sell a book if I don't sit down and plot. So I have
Makes sense.
learned to become a plotter, and I actually don't hate it. And the reason why I don't hate it is because it makes the drafting process for me go a little bit more seamlessly. And when I
Mm.
get to edit, it makes the editorial process a little bit smoother too. Now, that's not to say I don't still turn in a mess of a fresh draft because I do. I'm more of like a a a little bit more than a headlights writer. So I have friends who will intensely plot every beat, every detail from beginning to end. I'm always in awe of how their brain works because
Mm.
mine refuses to fill in those little nitty gritty details until I'm actually writing the scene. But what I'll do is I'll sit down. I call them my tentpole events. So I will always know the first chapter. I'll always know the initial conflict, the inciting incident, the rising action. I'll know the climax. I'll know the falling action. I'll know the resolution. But I won't know how we get from each of those points to the next, or even just like the cool little world building gems or character gems that
Mm.
I will sit down, and when I write, the scenes come to me like a moving picture. So as I'm watching the movie of my book in my head, that's when all of the little cool details will come out.
Oh my God.
And I'm just typing as like the characters and the world and the setting tells me what should be on the page.
Yeah. And that's the
Yes.
thing, like we all have our different way our brain works. I'm also in awe of the mega plotters. I can't keep all of it in my brain at once. No way. But I am excited to hear more about your newest release, which is coming to us soon. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about Our Vicious Oaths?
Yes. Yes. I'm super excited. Our Vicious Oaths is my first tried and true romantasy. It's an adult romantasy. It's knife to throat, enemies to lovers, meaning they are actually
Mm.
trying to kill each other for a good portion of the book. And this is another super special one because I had the question last week for an interview. What does it feel like to be entering a new space as far as a genre? And it doesn't feel like I'm entering a new space. And I said the exact same thing. It feels like I'm coming home. So it truly feels like a
Mm.
homecoming because I have been, before romantasy was a term, I have been a huge romantasy reader. And when I first started writing, that's what these are the types of stories I always wanted to tell. I've always wanted to tell stories that will give you like a thrilling, high stakes fantasy plot married with like a very steamy, spicy romance plot too. I just, you talk about those goalposts and those hurdles and things and publishing. Just when I first started out, I wasn't sure how to get there because it was back in 2017 when like paranormal romance and urban fantasy and before romantasy had this new renaissance, and all of that was considered like largely like dead and closed off to newer authors. And it was just like, like authors who were established and had like these existing fan bases who were still like publishing was still, giving the money and the deals to write them.
Mm.
So that's how we got the blood trials, which was like, I was like, you know what? I'm writing the blood trials, but also guess what? There's a very spicy sex scene in here that spans multiple
Mm.
chapters because I'm going
Ooh.
to do this anyway, in any way, shape, and form I can. And then readers responded to the spice in the blood trials so much and was like, so when are you writing an actual romantasy? And I love them so much for that because that gave me the capital to then go back to my publisher and be like, hey, so romantasy is in this renaissance, and my readers really, really want a romantasy, and I really want to write one. So let me do this. And then that's how I pitched them our vicious oaths. The hero is morally gray, arguably morally pitch black, because I really love a good villain romance too. Like I will eat it down bad. And also it's a full circle moment because when I first was subbing the blood trials, I mentioned to my agent then that I really wanted to write a face story. And she gave me this like, that's cute. Look, like, I mean, and like no shade to her. It was just the market in the industry at the time. But she gave me the I hear you and I support you, but that's going to be a really hard sell right now. Let's get like a couple books under your belt, build up your readership, and then we will circle back to you
Yeah.
wanting to
Yeah.
write a Faye story. So I am like literally when I say this is, I'm not supposed to play favorites, but Our Vicious Oaths is literally probably my favorite child to date because it is everything I have ever wanted to write in a novel. It is spicy, it is steamy, it is like high stakes Game of Thrones esque fantasy with your political intrigue and your political scheming. There's like a very sexy Fae warrior princess. There's a Fae king shadow daddy who's equally as ruthless and like hot. My like 90-second pitch that is funny because I had to give this once at Books, Gowns, and Crowns, and then I had to give it a second time in an actual church in Atlanta. And I was like,
Love that.
who?
Love that.
I was like, who let me on a romantic panel in a church? Like, who did this? And so Kate Dravis, I love her to death. She was my in conversation partner both
Love
times, and she
Kate.
was cracking up because she heard the R-rated pitch like the week before, and then she heard my attempt to give a PG-13 pitch since we were in the church and there were little babies in the audience. So I was like, I'm gonna try my best to like make this PG-13. And it was so hard. But we were both just like cackling on stage. But so my pitch is Kadisha is a warrior princess who rides a dragon and other things extraordinarily well too. She just wants to be the heir of her kingdom and lead her people. But since she's a girl, her dad is a raging misogynist and he won't let her be heir because she's not a boy. But he does want to marry her off to a allied Fae king who has a habit of killing his wives when he gets tired of them. So as her FU the night before her wedding, she goes out and has a one night stand with a very hot stranger. She doesn't know this hot stranger is a rival Fae king who is in town to sow literal mayhem and carnage the day of her wedding because her court and her betrothed court murdered his court like a decade ago when he was a child, and now he's a grown man with a grown crown and a grown throne, and he is out for blood. And none of this is a spoiler because this is like the cover copy on the back of the book, and it's just like the setup for all the good things that are gonna
Oh my
come later.
God.
So the day of her wedding, Malachi, who is my shadow daddy, Fae King, shows up and he orchestrates the slaughter of her court and her betrothed's court. But Kadisha's betrothed gets away, and Malachi proposes a bargain. If she comes back with him and pretends to be his captive war prize, they'll use that ruse to draw her betrothed out of hiding. And she's like, "Cool, he's an asshole, and I want his head. But you're an asshole too because you murdered my court, and I want your head." But then, amid all this like political scheming for the high throne, I always say like their hate smashing turns into catching actual feelings. And then Kadisha has to figure out if she's like actually going to kill him because he's like kneel or die. And she's like, no, how about you kneel first?
Yes.
Ooh, that's
Oh my
hot.
God. I'm so fucking excited for this book. The cover, the art, every
Yeah.
single thing. I'm so thrilled. I'm really thrilled to see how many people are so excited about it too.
Yes,
Um,
it's been
I
so
love that.
amazing.
Yes. Okay, well, I see we're down to our final
I
minute, and I don't want it to cut us off. But
Okay.
I am so excited. I can't wait to have this book in my hands.
know.
Thank you for joining us. And
Thank
truly,
you.
I can't wait for this book to just blow up and be every single where. It's so exciting. So thank you for coming early and
Yeah.
joining the
No, and
show.
thank you for having me. Like, this has been a blast.
Oh no, this
You
has been
are a
great.
blast. Like, and honestly, that book sounds like everything I fucking need right now. Like, oh my God. That pitch was
Thank
Mhm.
like everything. Shadow Daddy is like, I can't even, like, my brain is just cooking with
you.
need.
Thank you.
Cooking with need.
It's
You
gonna cut
left us
us
cooking
off
with
any
need. Yeah.
second though.
Yes,
So
love it.
thank
Love
you
it.
so
Yes.
much for joining us. And
Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Of the publishing persuasion, of the publishing persuasion.